The Table of Nations: Origins of Race, Nations, and Languages. The Table of Nations in the book of Genesis is the human family tree which illustrates the roots of humankind and the branches that are the various people groups around the world. Indeed, we are all brothers and sisters and cousins in the human family. So, using the Table of Nations, as well as the stories of said nations, backed by genetic science, archaeology, anthropology, and even etymology, let us explore the roots and branches of the human family tree through the Table of Nations. According to the Bible, we all come from one man and one woman, referred to as Adam and Kawa, or Eve in English. Genetic science, as well as various other religions, also makes this conclusion that we all come from one man and one woman, Adam. The Bible states that the first man created was called Adam. Adam was made in the image of God, from the dust of the ground, with his soul coming from the breath of God. Genesis 1, verse 27. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. Genesis 2, verse 7. And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Thus, the definition of man is a vessel for the breath of God, made in the image of God, from the ruddy earth. The name Adam is Hebrew, meaning son of the ruddy earth. The Bible gives us clues as to the location of this ruddy earth from which Adam was formed. Adam was formed in Eden, and he was placed in the garden eastward in Eden. A river went out from Eden to water the garden, and it split into four rivers. These rivers are believed to be the Tigris, Euphrates, the Blue, and White Nile. Genesis 2, verse 8 through 14. And the Lord God planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man he formed. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into four heads. The name of the first is Pishon, that is, which encompasseth the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold. And the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium and the onyx stone. And the name of the second river is Gihon, the same as that encompasseth the whole land of Ethiopia. And the name of the third river is Hiddekel, that is, which goeth towards the east of Assyria. And the fourth river is Euphrates. If we check a map to see where these four rivers are believed to be located, it is clearly Africa and West Asia. While there's some debate as to the actual location of some of these rivers, the Gihon is unmistakable because it encompasses Ethiopia. Having a general idea of where these rivers are, if we check a world map to find where there is red soil west of these four rivers, the only place is sub Saharan Africa, the exact place science concludes humanity started.
A new portrait of the common ancestor of every man today. Adam. Without the skull, we can't know for sure what Adam looked like. But a combination of genetic evidence, Bender's forensic skills, and cutting-edge computer software suggest he looked something like this. Thousands of years after the Bible, and hundreds of years after Michelangelo, we have a whole new face for Adam.
So Adam was a black man, made in the image of God, from the ruddy earth in sub-Saharan Africa. Now there are contrarians who will say Adam is not black, he's not white, but he's ruddy. So he was red-skinned. To them I say there are plenty of black people with a reddish complexion from this part of the world. Ruddy does not mean ginger. And for those who believe that ruddy refers to someone like this, ruddy does not mean gingers for a few reasons. One, we don't all come from gingers. Two, this is a ruddy duck. Three, this is a ruddy dog. Four, this is a ruddy cow. Five, these are ruddy Africans. Ruddy means brown with a reddish complexion. Woman, on the other hand, is a type of man with a womb. The word woman means exactly that, a man with a womb. The first woman is known as Eve, or Kawa in Hebrew, meaning mother of life. As the biblical story denotes, Eve was taken from Adam's rib and made into woman. Genesis 2, verse 21. And the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept, and took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh thereof. Genesis 2, verse 22. And the rib which the Lord God had taken from man, made he a woman, and brought her unto man. Genetics. According to genetic science, all humans possess the Y chromosome and mtDNA of one man and one woman, meaning the entire human race comes from one man and one woman. Science tells us all humans come from Africa, and the first humans would have been black Africans. Mitochondrial Eve is the oldest skeleton found in Africa, and everyone has her DNA. Everyone has her DNA. She is the foremother of all of us, Khoisan people. The Khoikhoi and San people are considered one of the oldest people, and interestingly enough, everyone has their DNA, but they don't have everyone else's DNA, which suggests that this is where humanity started and mutated after migration. Chinese. According to the head of Chinese genetic research, they were out to prove Chinese people evolved differently than other human species. However, what they found were that they came from a group of people who migrated out of Africa and even lived in the land of Canaan, which is consistent with the Bible.
Jin took DNA from over 160 ethnic groups around East Asia. Over 12,000 samples. And so, what did you find?
Everybody was a descendant of our ancestors from Africa.
The result couldn't have been any clearer.
Native Americans. Even Native Americans didn't pop out of the ground in America. They migrated to America from various routes. And according to the DNA they have, some have Asiatic DNA. Which, as we've already discussed, also have African origins. Roots. Genetic evidence agrees that Adam and Eve were black because black people can create white children, but white couples cannot create melanated children. There is also no disease, curse, condition, or anything that makes white people grow melanin to protect them from the sun and give them color at the same time, increasing their bone density and privy members, and make their hair curly.
what was it called? What'd you call it? Revitaligo?
The revitiligo spread rapidly across my whole body, like that black symbiote that turned Topher Grace into Venom in Spider-Man Part 3.
However, there are several conditions that cause melanated people to have lighter skin, hair, eyes, loss of bone and muscle density. They include vitiligo, albinism, leucism, and biblical leprosy. And in the case of this family, genetic variants within the gene pool. As aforementioned, it is not possible for two non-melanated people to give birth to a melanated child, but two melanated people can give birth to a non-melanated child. This means that that is the root. Scientifically speaking, one of the main reasons for genetic difference in Europeans and Asians from Africans is the appearance of Neanderthal DNA, which according to science, not me, this happened when human beings, or Homo sapien, which means wise men or anatomically modern humans, migrated out of Africa and mated with a now extinct primate or hominid known as a Neanderthal and a Denisovan. This is why everyone, besides pure Africans, have 1 to 11% Neanderthal DNA, which is responsible for lighter skin, hair, and eyes. The Bible does talk about humans marrying non-humans, as we will see later. Part 3. The Trunk of the Tree. Adam and Eve had two sons, Cain and Abel. Genesis 4, verse 1 through 2. And Adam knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bore his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in the book of Jubilees, they were both born with twin sisters, Lulua, the sister of Cain, and Alana, the sister of Abel. Book of Adam and Eve, chapter 74, verse 5. And God looked at his maidservant Eve, and delivered her. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and with him a daughter. They named the son Cain, and the daughter Lulua. Book of Adam and Eve, chapter 75, verse 11. When the days of nursing were ended, Eve again conceived, and when her days were accomplished, she brought forth another son and daughter, and they named the son Abel, and the daughter Aclea. Cain killed Abel out of jealousy, and Abel had no children. Genesis 4, verse 8. And Cain talked with Abel his brother, and it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother, and slew him. Adam and Eve would have another son named Seth, who would go on to create his own line. Thus there were two lineages from Adam, the children of Seth, who lived in the high mountains, and the children of Cain, who lived in the valley. Genesis 4, verse 25. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bore him a son, and called his name Seth. For God, said she, hath appointed me another seed instead of Abel, whom Cain slew. In exchange for the secrets of heaven, the children of Cain married fallen angels and bred the Nephilim. This is the first instance of non-human marriages in the Bible. And this introduced new genetic variants into the gene pool. This may be the actual root of the Neanderthal and Denisovan DNA. Genesis 6, verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bore children to them. The same became mighty men, which were of old men of renown. The children of Seth would stay pure until the days of Noah. Seth begat Enos, Enos begot Canaan, and Canaan begat Mahalalel. And Mahalalel begat Jared, and Jared begat the prophet Enoch, who was taken from the earth during the time of the fallen angels. Enoch begat Methuselah, and Methuselah begat Lamech, and Lamech begat the prophet Noah of Noah's ark. It was in the days of Noah when the fallen angels would join the children of men and corrupt their flesh with them, all except Noah and his 3 sons and their wives. During the days of the fallen angel, all flesh was corrupt, and humans practiced all manner of lawlessness, homosexuality, pedophilia, bestiality. These things were all normal. Human animal hybrids were also commonplace. Book of Jasher, chapter 4, verse 18. And the sons of men in those days took from the cattle of the earth, the beasts of the field, and the fowls of the air, and taught the mixture of animals of one species with another, in order therewith to provoke the Lord. And God saw the whole earth, and it was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted its ways upon the earth, all men and animals. This was also the days of Atlantis, and this was the reason God sent the flood of Noah's ark. Genesis 6, verse 5 through 10. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Verse 7. And the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air, for it repenteth me that I have made them. And this flood wiped out everyone, except for Noah and his family, which is why every race on earth comes from the 3 sons of Noah, and why all language groups are named after these 3 sons. Genesis 6, verse 8. But Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with God. And Noah begat 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The branches. According to the book of Enoch, Noah seems to have been born an albino. Book of Enoch 105, 1 through 3. After a time, my son Methuselah took a wife for his son Lamech. She became pregnant by him and brought forth a child, the flesh of which was white as snow and red as a rose, the hair of whose head was white like wool, and long, and whose eyes were beautiful. Then Lamech his father was afraid of him, and flying away to his own father Methuselah, and said, I have begotten a son. Unlike to other children, he is not human, but resembling the offspring of the angels of heaven. He is of a different nature from ours, being altogether unlike us. His father thought his son was an angel because he was white. This is a valuable piece of information that has been removed from the public biblical understanding. From this, we can deduce that 1. Angels had offsprings with humans, which are the Nephilim in Genesis 6. 2. Their hybrid children came out white. 3. Noah's parents were not white, and no one in their lineage was, all the way back to Adam. However, Noah was not the son of an angel. His whiteness was from God. What happened with this family is probably what happened with Noah's birth. This black couple gave birth to a white baby with straight hair. And this child is not grown up to be a Nephilim as far as we know. Therefore, it is possible for black people to give birth to white people and black children, and therefore everything else in between. Noah is still a black man with albinism or leucism or whatever the name for this is. This may explain why Noah had three sons that seem to be of three different races. So if Noah, as an albino, marries a black woman, he can have a black son because they're both technically black. He can have a brown son, which is a mixture of both hues, or even a white son who has the same condition he has. This shows us that all races and colors do indeed come back to one source, and we are all brothers and sisters. The family tree. Noah had three sons who are the foundation of all modern nations, languages, and race. His sons were Ham, also known as Chem, Shem, also known as Sem, and Japheth, also known as Japheth. Ham, also known as Chem or Cam, meant hot, burnt, or passionate. Noah blessed him and made him black as a raven. He inherited the coast of the sea. He is the father of the Hamitic or Kemetic people and language family. Ham's people would settle Africa first and then West Asia. His son Cush created the Cushitic people of East Africa. But he also migrated to West Asia and created Sumeria and Akkad and various people in southern Arabia. Ham's second son, Mitzrayim, settled what we now call Egypt. However, the people living in Egypt call it by the Arabic version of Mitzrayim, Masri, acknowledging that this land was originally settled by Mitzrayim in the Bible. His son Canaan settled the land of Canaan, which we now call Israel and Palestine. And his son Put settled North Africa. They also settled East Asia, meaning the Chinese and various East Asians are of Hamitic descent, as well as Native Americans, Australians, and other indigenous groups around the world. Shem. Shem, also known as Sem, means renowned or famous, and he would inherit the inhabitable earth. Noah blessed him and made him black and comely. He was the father of the Semitic people and language family. His people settled West Asia, Africa, and the Americas, and they include the Elamites, who come from Shem's son Elam, the Assyrians, who come from his son Ashur. The Lydians came through his son Lud, the Arameans from his son Aram, the Hebrews through his great-grandson Eber, and the Arabs from his great-great-great-grandson Yarab ibn Qatan, and at least 32 different groups of people in East Africa. But I'll explain more of that in my Semites Explained video. Japheth, also known as Japheth, whose name means enlarge, was blessed by Noah and given the desert and its fields. He created the Japhethites and all the Indo-European language families. He was said to be fair complexion. His people settled all of Europe and North India. His son Magog settled what is now Russia and Turkey. His son Gomer settled what is now Germany and also parts of Turkey. His son Javan created the Greeks and Latin peoples. His son Tubal also settled around Turkey and Georgia, with some of his tribes settling in Spain. His son Madai would settle various parts of Central Asia, including Persia, India, Pakistan, and so on. He has other sons, but we'll save that for our Japhethite Explained video. There's also mixed groups of people, which encourage more diversity. For example, the term Afro-Asiatic languages used to be known as Hamido-Semitic languages, as they come from Hamitic people intermarrying with Semitic people, such as Eber, the great-grandson of Shem, who married Azurad, the great-granddaughter of Ham, and started the Hebrew race. Which is not coincidental, because Hebrew is an Afro-Asiatic language. And when we look at the names and languages and places where these people were said to be, many of them are named after the children of Noah, giving credence to this idea. This video was just to give you the basic understanding of the background of the Table of Nations and where the branches come from. So in my next video, we'll explore each branch of the human family tree.